Hi, I'm Midori Verity, relationship expert for the California Women's Conference and the co-host for the Women Network Virtual Summit. And today, if you are interested in social media for business or for marketing at all, you are in for a huge treat because we have the social media diva with us today. This is Kim Garst, and we are just incredibly thrilled and privileged to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Anytime I can talk to women entrepreneurs, I'm like all about that.
No, we appreciate it, and we know how busy you are with all your Periscopes and all your other things you have going on. So I'm glad you were able to carve out a little time for us.
It's fun. I'm excited to be here. So, I'm always, like I say, love sharing good stuff with other women who are on the same path.
Great. So let me just give you a little background on Kim. She is the co-founder and CEO of Boom Social, a corporate branding and social media consulting firm that specializes or that services over 32,000 subscribers and over 100 clients. She's extremely passionate about sharing how you can do social media. She was recently named by Forbes as one of the top 50 social media influencers. She's hired by national and international brands of all sizes with one goal in mind: to accelerate profits by integrating proven online marketing and social media strategies, as well as keeping them in step with trends and constant changes of the social media world. So share your expertise with us. What made you get into social media? Did you just kind of trip into it, or
Well,
what made you?
I have a long history as it relates to being online and owning an online business. I started my first business way back in the day, 20 plus years ago, when my oldest son was born. So I have been online for a long time.
Okay.
But the social media side of it, I told people, or I like to tell people that, I was doing social media before it was truly called social media because back in the day, I would leverage B2B boards and AOL business chat rooms to connect with people that I didn't know, essentially kind of what we do with social media today, and try to see if they needed my services. Um, and of course, now social media has made that journey so much easier. It's not an outreach so much anymore. It's an attraction process. You put yourself out there and you attract your ideal client by what you put, in my opinion, what you put out on social media.
Right, right. So it changes so fast, and I know they talk about having a conversation with your people and keeping that going. But can you share some tips on how to really build up your following and interact, and whatever other tips you can give us?
Well, I think at its root for social media and in leveraging it for businesses, people buy from those they know, like, and trust, and that's why the relationship side of things on social media is so important. Everybody talks about well, you have to talk to people, you have to build relationships, and it's so true. Um, but I think at the root of all of that, if you back up from all of that and you say, okay, well, that sounds good, but how do I do it? I think it starts with being who you are truly, being okay with, not segmenting your business and your personal, because people are going to connect with you on a personal basis before they're going to connect with you around your product or service. And some people kind of get, uh, wrapped up in that. They feel like they have to be all business-like. When the reality is people are attracted to our personalities and to who we are as people more than they are necessarily our product or service. So I think we have to be okay with being human on
Right.
social media. That sounds ridiculous when you say it like that, but
But I think you can't hide when you're on social media. You can't. You have to be authentic because people see through you.
in a heartbeat today.
Yeah.
It's just not the same as it has traditionally been. Traditional marketing, allows us to hide behind the billboard or the doorknob thing.
Right.
But on social media, you can't. You have to just get out there. You have to showcase your personality. Um, and then, like I say, I think you do attract the right people to you based on showing up and being authentic, and being just being who you are, sharing your passion for what you do. Don't start a business that you're not passionate about.
Right.
And showcase that passion, and then be useful. I think that's important too. How can you show up and be a value proposition for somebody? Um, because they have lots of choices today,
Yes.
and way more choices, honestly. I mean, choices have always been out there, but now they're more readily at people's fingertips than they ever have been before. So I think, especially if you're in a niche where it's kind of crowded, it's, how do you stand out from the rest? I think that goes back to, did you do the little extra? Did you reach out? Did you say hello? Did you provide something value based that made a difference for them? Sometimes it's just little things like, an inspirational quote.
Right.
You're encouraging someone. They remember things like that. Um, so it's not always about, that one-on-one conversation. There are way more lurkers on social media than there are engagers. So, if you can put content out there that resonates with your ideal customer, your ideal client, they remember that, even though they may not physically comment on it. So when they need what you have, they're more likely to buy from you simply because you have, you've held some value in their life.
Right. They'll remember you. So let's say you have the best, phenomenal content you can. I mean, it's amazing what you have out there, but no one is liking you. No one's liking your page. No one is following you. What are your tips there? Is it okay to buy followers? Give us some ideas there.
Sure. No, I would never buy followers or fans. Facebook is a bit tougher right now, because Facebook is really curtailing our reach. In other words, they're, basically choosing how people see our content and who sees our content, essentially. And it's based on engagement and time and some other things. But it's kind of a self-licking ice cream. If you don't have engagement, how are you going to get people to see your content? And if people aren't seeing your content, how are you going to get engagement?
Right.
So it's kind of tough on Facebook and fan pages right now, especially if you're just getting started. One thing I would suggest for Facebook is having a small ads budget. Don't be locked into, in my opinion, we've kind of gotten used to the fact that social media is free. I think we need to, it's not free in the time sense. We do spend time doing it, and that's our most valuable asset, honestly. But free in the sense that we can get on it and leverage it. It connects us to a community of people or a masses of community or mass of people. But I think we have to shift our mindset a little bit to realize that we are business owners. We may have to spend a little bit of money to advertise to find that perfect client. It may not always be pure content, especially when you're first starting and you don't have that. You may have great content, but if nobody's seeing it, then nobody knows you have great content. So, do some targeted things as it relates to some of your content to get your stuff out there, let people connect with it. It doesn't take a ton of money to make that happen. We have clients that literally spend $5 a day, on Facebook ads. Twitter, Instagram, obviously, are all still, the feeds are open still. They haven't started to control what people see. Periscope is an amazing opportunity to build the know, like, and trust factor. So they're all great platforms. You just have to figure out what is good for you and your business, and if your ideal client or customer is there. And then, like I say, most people are comfortable on Facebook because that's where a lot of us start.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't like branching out, but there's a big wide world out there on the other platforms as well. So
Yes.
I really do like to encourage women entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs, honestly, to take a look at some of the other platforms because there is an amazing opportunity, I think, at any social platform today. You just have to figure out which one works for you and where you want to really, or ones. I wouldn't, that's the other mistake I see people make a lot is, they try to be everywhere instead of really just getting good at one or two platforms.
Okay, so that's your suggestion. Is don't feel like you need to do Pinterest and Periscope and Facebook and Twitter, and I mean I can go on because it's overwhelming. But really, just kind of
the reality is we still have businesses to run. So how can you've got this huge learning curve, and then you got to create all this content, and the list goes on and on.
right.
So I would just highly recommend that you choose a couple, especially if you're just getting started, maybe even one. Learn how to do it, how to start engaging, how to build content, how to really build relationships on that one platform, or maybe two. And then as you grow and your business starts to develop, leveraging those two or even one, you can step into some of the others as well.
Right. But just kind of master one first and then move on.
I would. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah. So you had mentioned, and I hear some debate on this, buy some ads. Let's say it's Facebook. With those ads, do you feel that it's okay to be selling on there, or do we want to be paying for ads that are just kind of promoting who we are and our content versus necessarily selling something? So it's more of an indirect type of thing. What do you say there?
Well, I think it needs everything you do when it comes to spending money, or even any kind of content that you put on social media starts with a goal set. You have to know what you want from that piece of content. Maybe in some cases it's brand awareness. Maybe in some cases it's opt-ins. You're trying to build your list. Maybe you're trying to create a sale. But each of those scenarios have a whole different strategy behind them. And for me, my presence is so built out on my fan page now that I don't do things like campaigns for my page. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't do them for some of my clients. Some of them, need, they want to build their community. They need targeted people coming to their page. But I think it starts with saying, okay, this is my goal, and I think you need to quantify that goal. So if you want, 100 new Facebook fans, for example, okay, that's my goal. Now, what am I going to do to get those 100 new fans? Or if you have a product that you want to, or a coaching class, or anything, and you want to sell so many of those, then that's a whole different strategy. And I think they need to be approached differently. In some cases, the targeting will be different. Or the actual, the graphics, the verbiage, all of it can be very different. But for Facebook ads for myself, I truly only spend money on ads that are going to generate opt-ins for my list or drive a sale.
Okay. All right. But maybe if you're in the beginning, you need to start with the likes, as you said, because we got to get people even there. So.
Right. And in some cases, there's another strategy as well, because, like I said, a like doesn't equate to engagement, and getting your content consistently back into the feeds of your fans. So in some cases, we do engagement campaigns where we put the content back, serve the content back into the news feeds, or try to get them back into the news feeds, so that you can build your engagement, so that more of your content will be seen by because as Facebook sees your engagement pick up, then they start to show your content to more people. So that's a whole other strategy.
I never thought about the engagement part. That's interesting. So with that, give us some little tips on that. So if I, no one's liking my page, no one's talking to me, what are some things that I could do to build up, give us some hacks on building up engagement?
Sure. Well, one of the things that I would suggest is you kind of get a feel for what your audience engages with you around, unless you just starting and you really don't yet know what people are looking for from you. Mm-hmm. Or as you put out content, you can say, okay, well, wow, this got 3 likes, or this got 10 likes, or this got 25 likes, or wow, this got 100 likes. Obviously, I hit something here. So as you kind of get a feel for what your content is working, or how it's working for you, then you can say, well, since this has been very popular compared to some of my other stuff, maybe I'll run a boost on this. So a boosted post is just that. In other words, you say, okay, I want to spend $5. I'm going to reach you know, 2,000 of my fans, or you know, whatever it is. If your fan base isn't that big, it may put a smaller number, but you can actually spend literally just a few bucks and put that, basically pay Facebook to put it back in front of your fans. And that's a way to, you know, and I would start with something that at least was fairly popular on your page, so that you know it's resonating. Don't waste money, you know, trying to, you know, for example, a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to boost this sale. You know, I've got this graphic and I'm trying to sell something. That usually doesn't work because people don't like to be sold. And if they haven't been seeing your content consistently, they don't have a frame of reference for who you are. Even though they might have liked your page, you know, people, 97% of people never come back to your page after they like it. They consume content from your page
Interesting. Okay.
through, they only see your content when it shows up in their feed.
Right.
So it's this kind of like it's a nightmare, honestly, for some business owners, because you're like, I've got such great content, I've got to get my stuff out there, nobody's seeing it. It truly is a frustration, but there is a way around it. It does take a little bit of strategy and in my opinion, a little bit of an ads budget,
Okay.
but it can be done.
Okay. Great points. So we were just talking about all the different platforms that are making us all, or so many of us business owners, a little bit nutty because we're trying to figure out which is the best one. But Periscope is this new one that I recently discovered, and I love it. It is so fun. Can you tell us a little bit about Periscope and how we can use that to build up our brand and build up our businesses?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Periscope. In fact, I have my First Lady of Periscope t-shirt on today. Shalene Johnson nicknamed me the First Lady of Periscope. But let me
What an
just
honor.
explain for people who don't know what Periscope is. It's basically FaceTiming with the world. I mean, well, not the world, but with a group of people that are attracted to your title, essentially. You know, and as you build community there and you deliver value, you know, more and more people literally will come and tune in. The neat part is it's a phone app, so you can sit down with your phone. You know, press a button, hit start broadcast, type in your title, hit start broadcast, and you could be literally chatting in real time. They see you, or you can turn the camera to face you, or you can turn the camera to face anything. Use your front-facing camera. So you could show people your evening meal. You could take people on a tour of your factory or your store. You know, anything of that nature. It's literally like having a TV station, your own TV station, essentially.
Right.
There's a real engagement. People can comment. They can, you know, ask you questions. Um, it's just, it's a phenomenal. It's been out about 5 months now. I think there's the last stats that came out was 13 million people, users as of the last I heard. But this is the stunning part. 40 years of content are being consumed every day on Periscope.
Wow.
Which means, and you know why? It's because it's in our hands.
Oh, good point.
So what happens, and this is why this is important as business owners for us to grasp this, is when people sign up for an account and you go live, they get a notification on their phone. Do you know it's kind of like a text message? Do you know the open rate for a text message? It's like 90%.
Right.
So, you know, our email inboxes are not that, right? I
No.
mean, not even close. So that's why I think people are consuming so much content. It's on our hands. It's readily accessible. It's visual, which a lot of people are, you know. So it's just a great way to show up and provide value, and it builds the know, like, and trust factor at a super accelerated rate. Because people can see you. They get a sense for who you are, what your person, and you know, that can take months to do on social media because you have to build it up. You have to get in front of people. This puts you in front of people and bypasses a lot of what we traditionally have had to fight for on, you know, some of the traditional social media platforms. So it's pretty exciting.
And yeah, to have that type of following already in 5 months is insane, but it has just taken storm. It's crazy. But for me, for my business, I'm just starting to use it. But what I loved about it is just the interaction. And you can see people talking to you and you know that they're engaged, and I'm so excited about it. So, and I know that you are the queen of Periscope. So,
Well, I think for me, because if you'd have told me 3 months ago that I would be doing this, I would have laughed because I don't like my picture taken. I hate video. The fact that I would be, sitting down every day 2 or 3 times to get in front of the camera is like, really? It's kind of surreal. But what really hooked me is exactly what you just said. The fact that I can talk to real people in real time and deliver value in real time, which is, I think that's my hook. That's why I do it every day. It's addictive that we get up every day thinking, well, I do. How can I serve today? And this is a way for me to do that. So it's just really intriguing. I think we're going to see. Well, we already are seeing so many platforms pop up that are live streaming videos or the live streaming application. I think, ladies, if you're out there and you're listening, I'm just saying that this is a fabulous opportunity to be a forerunner or a whatever early adopter, whatever term you want to use, in a space that's wide open. Of the 40 years of content that's being consumed every day, only 1% of those 13 million people are scoping. So 1% of 13 million people are providing 40 years worth of content every day.
So right now's a good time.
Every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know that you have done so well and you've built up your social media business and corporation. But has there been a time in your business experience, whether it was this business or another one, where you did go through a rough time and experienced some not so bright moments?
Well, I think we all do. There's no way that you can basically walk a entrepreneur path without hitting bumps.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, I've had a multitude of them. I was trying to, you always have a few that really stand out in your head. When I first really got started, way back in the day, I had reached a point where I was like, I'm going to have to give this up. We were, my husband was in the military, and I wanted to stay home with my son. That was my why. And we were literally at the end of our borrow from Peter to pay Paul kind of scenario. Mm-hmm. And so he had a travel card that he used for his business or his work. And, it was issued by the military, and it was tied to his top secret clearance, so it wasn't a light thing,
Right.
And I had promised I would never use that credit card, and I needed to buy software that would get me my first real job. But there was no way I could do this first real job without this software, and I'm like,
oh.
I don't have any other choice, so I used that credit card with a lot of fear, a lot of, what it was bigger than just the $97. It was his work. I was risking everything. I was risking his job. I was risking our relationship. It was hard for me to make that decision, and I knew that I had 30 days to turn it around because the bill would be due.
Ooh, talk about pressure.
Yes. And he didn't know about that for 18 years.
You're kidding. Wow, good job.
Forever. But that was probably the most defining moment for me, is realizing, my back was up against the wall. I was probably at the lowest point ever in my business. And I could have walked away. It would have been easier, frankly, mm-hmm. and it was safer in so many other realms of what the situation was. But I didn't. I took the chance, I took the leap, and I think sometimes as business owners, we take the easy path sometimes because the hard one's tough.
Right.
And if I think desperation breeds great things, or it makes us crumble. So if you have that moment in your business where you're at that where you feel like you're desperate, do you continue? Do you take this path or that path? I'm of the opinion that if you're meeting some resistance, you're probably on the right path. You just have to push through it.
Right. And I think that's such a good point for every business owner, male or female, but we all run into that point, and the ones who succeed are the ones who persevere and use the experiences like yours to get to the other side. So I appreciate you telling us your story, and I'm so glad that you and your husband made it through that, because I can't imagine the stress. I'm sure it was astronomical. That would have been bad.
Yeah.
So do you have, we have so many women who are just, every one of our speakers is so bright and intelligent, but they all got some help getting there. Do you have a book that helped you on your way to success in life?
Well, I actually, I love the Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love Daring Greatly. Have you read this book by Brene Brown?
I have not.
Dude, this is a woman's book.
Okay.
So, ladies, if you haven't read this book, it's really awesome. I would highly, highly recommend it.
Okay, great. And then I believe you had some type of special offer for our...
Well, I gushed all over everybody about Periscope. So in case anyone is interested in, learning more, dipping your toe in, I do have a jumpstart guide. It kind of tells you what Periscope is all about, the basics of it, lays out, it'll get you started for sure.
Right.
And you're welcome to check that out at kimgarst.com/Periscope 101.
Great. I encourage every one of us to take advantage of that, because Periscope is unbelievable. Unbelievable if you have not looked into it yet. And Kim Garst is the Periscope diva. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of that. But I appreciate all your time, and I know you have so much to do, and thank you for sharing all these great tips with our listeners today.
Well, I'm so glad we made this work. Thank you for inviting me, and if I can ever do anything, let me know.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.